State University Sports Channel presents the Illinois High School Association Class 3A Football Championship, featuring the Red Devils of Spring Valley Hall against the Lions of Carterville High School. And welcome back to the campus of Illinois State University. We continue our Sports Channel football weekend with Jack McInerney. I'm Mike Lederman. We're back, and the rains have returned as well, Jack. Temperatures dropping, winds picking up. Could be some problems with the footing.
Well, field position will be a factor with the wind as far as the kicking game is concerned. It could be a major factor. The passing game, I don't think it'll be as much as a factor as the kicking game because of the wind.
Spring Valley Hall High School, the defending champions, they are back under Coach Gary Vicini. Actually, they're back almost in name only. They only have 9 seniors on the roster. Only 6 of them play, but 2, or one of them, is Eric Bryant, the all-star, all-purpose two-way back.
He's an outstanding back. He gives all the versatility that you need. He has over 1,200 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns. He has 10 interceptions as a defensive back, and the thing that I like is that he has almost 22 receptions coming out of the backfield. Gives him tremendous versatility.
They also have a fine quarterback who has stepped up, SHAWN, JEPPSON, number 7.
Anytime that you can have over 1,000 yards in your passing attack along the complement of running back with over 1,000, that gives you great versatility, and that's what we're going to see tonight.
Well, they're going to need all that versatility because Carterville, and that is a suburb of Carbondale down in the southern part of the state, very, very big team, especially for Class 3A. They are here for the first time. They are trying for their first championship. 2 players who we should watch, the quarterback Brock Lovelace and Billy Pinkston, the running back. Let's talk about Lovelace first.
Well, he's an all-state quarterback, gives you the versatility, throws the ball real well, has over 1,300 yards and 20 touchdowns. That's a big factor. In other words, he can find that open receiver. He makes things go for that offense.
They have several receivers. They have several ball carriers. Here's a guy who does both, Billy Pinkston.
Well, he also gives you another 20 touchdowns. That's 40 touchdowns with 2 players, and another situation with 1,000 yards in the running game. So we're looking at 2 teams that give us 1,000 each in the air and 1,000 each on the ground. Should be a wide open ball game.
All right, it's the Class 3A championship coming to you right now. Let's go up to the public address announcer and check tonight's starting lineup.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for this evening's Class 3A state championship football game. First, the defense for the Spring Valley Hall Red Devils. At left end, number 81, Matt Taylor. Left tackle, number 60, Sean Berkman. At right tackle, number 77, Mike Chasey. At right end, number 99, Nick Sterling. At linebacker, number 62, Adam Curran. Linebacker, number 33, Mike Borowski. At linebacker, number 80, Joey Reed. At linebacker, number 36, Josh Turgiletti. At a defensive back, number 12, Eric HIRST. At defensive back, number 25, Eric Bryant. And at safety, number 21, Tony Orlandi. The Red Devils are coached by Gary Vicini. And now the starting offense for the Carterville Lions. At split end, number 7, Casey Ward. At left tackle, number 78, Ryan Gullett. Left guard, number 77, John Chamberlain. At center, number 53, Jeff Cook. At right guard, number 68, Jeremy Smith. Right tackle, number 73, J.P. MOWRER. Tight end, number 31, Jonah, FORE. The quarterback, number 18, Brock Lovelace. Halfback, number 22, Billy Pinkston. At halfback, number 5, Kenny Richard. And at fullback, number 24, Ryan HESS. The Lions are coached by Kerry Martin.
There are your starting lineups. Let's check out now with our broadcast partner who's braving the elements, Yvonne Simmons. Yvonne.
Hi guys, I sure am braving these elements. It is raining out here, and as Mike said before, Spring Valley Hall are the defending champions. They bring 9 seniors back that expect to win. As for Carterville, Coach Kerry Martin brings his first undefeated team into Hancock Stadium. As to where these two teams are located, at the opposite ends of the state, I can tell you that Carterville is near Carbondale, Illinois, at Southern Illinois University. As for the road to normal, Spring Valley defeated Marengo in the first round. Second round defeated Addison in a last-second play, 22-21. In quarterfinals, they dumped Coal City 21-14. In the semis, Spring Valley defeated Watseka 36-12. That's for Carterville first round. They defeated Heron 24-12. Second round defeated Murfreesboro 23-21. They thumped Metropolis 31-8, and then an overtime win in the semis against DuQuoin. Take it back up to you, Mike.
All right, Yvonne, stay warm. Spring Valley Hall in the white, they are the visiting team. In the navy and the orange, you'll find Carterville to your left when we get over that way. And Sean Berkman, sophomore, ready to kick the ball off for Hall High. He'll be kicking to the north, to Carterville. Taking on the 10. And taking is David Mason, and Mason brings the ball across the 30-yard line where the Lions will work their first offensive series after the 16-yard return. There's a look at David Mason. We'll see him in the backfield on occasion. Brock Lovelace will bring the Lions out. Jack, we're going to see a lot of one-back sets with this team.
They throw a lot of different formations on the perimeters at you, and that's what happens when you have one back. Like, for example, right now they're going on a pro set with a flanker and a tight end, and then the slot down here at the bottom with one back.
Chastain to the left, to the right is Ward. First play from scrimmage, the ball is given off to Pinkston. And look at Pinkston take off. Billy Pinkston all the way across midfield, out of bounds at the 40-yard line of Spring Valley Hall. Run out by Adam Curran, the linebacker, a 21-yard gain.
Well, you'll see the guard pulling, play side guard pulling here to get around a corner. Does a nice job of log blocking on the end. And a little stalk job there by the flanker, and he gets some big yardage on the very first play from scrimmage.
Pinkston, a 1,400-yard rusher, only 5'10", 160, turned on the Jets there, picked up 21. First down and 10 from the 46-yard line now of Spring Valley Hall. Again, receiver split left and right. In motion is Richard. And the other way this time. Pinkston tries the right side, brought down by Josh Turgaletti after a short game. Let's take a look at the offense for the Carterville Lions. Lovelace, the quarterback. Pinkston, Hess, Richard, Jonah, FORE. Sees some time at tight end, and Casey Ward. And up front, they are large. 3 players, Gullett, Chamberlain, and Maurer, 270 or better on that front line. Gain of 4, call it 2nd and 6. Slot back left. And they fake it and they give it off to number 5, Kenny Richard. And Kenny Richard again with a short gain, stopped by the defense. Number 62, Adam Curran. Now the company's starting defensive lineup for Spring Valley Hall. Taylor, the sophomore, Berkman, the only soph in there. Chazy, Nick Sterling, Eric Hurst, Eric Bryant. Again, a fine two-way player. And the safety is Tony Orlandi. And the linebackers, Curran, Mike Borowski is also the fullback, Joey Reed, and Josh Turgaletti, who also plays on the flank. Big third down play here. 3rd and 6 from the 42. First attempt for Lovelace. Looking long, and it is in and out of the hands of Mark Chastain. Chastain, the leading receiver, 27 balls caught during the regular season, missed this one, and it'll be 4th down and a punting situation for Carterville.
What we see oftentimes, Mike, with high school receivers and quarterbacks is they pin themselves into the sideline and they don't give themselves any room to operate along the sideline. And there was a perfect example. If he would have caught it, he would have been out of bounds by 3 yards.
Jonah FORE, the punter, he averages 34 yards a kick. Eric Yearling, number 22, Eric Bryant, number 25, are the deep backs. And this one kicked into the wind. Low trajectory, short kick, out of bounds, outside the 20 to the 23. Only a 19-yard kick. And now, working with the wind, will be Spring Valley Hall. The Red Devils, coached by Gary Vicini. Vicini, in his 13th year, won a state championship last year with a team he thought was in a rebuilding mode. This year, he lost most of those seniors. Didn't expect to be here again, but what do you know? And they're more than happy to have him. 12-1 for the record. Quarterback is JEPPSON. Bryant and Borowski are the two backs in the eye, and the give is to Bryant, and tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Excellent play. Breaking through, number 23, Matt Dunning. Dunning, the linebacker, you'll be calling his name quite a bit.
You can see him coming right off tackle there. They pulled the tackle, and he came right in. His read was that tackle. When he left, he filled the gap. Great penetration, big play early.
The wind had been coming almost directly from the right of your picture to the left. Now it's more of a crosswind blowing from the top of the screen to the bottom, but still, if there's an advantage, it is going in this direction. Meanwhile, it's a game, the direction that Hall is going. Meanwhile, it's a loss of 4, so 2nd and 14, ball back on the 18-yard line. JEPPSON again, to give this time to the fullback Borowski, and Mike Borowski met by the entire defensive line, led by David Mason. Take a look at the Country Company starting lineup. The backfield, JEPPSON, Bryant, Borowski, a fine fullback, Eric HIRST, Josh Turgaletti, his brother quarterbacked this team last year, and Joey Reed, the tight end. Bertrand, Chasey, Eric Miller, Chad Glover, Luke Maltus. Kind of a smallish line, but they've been getting the job done, and they are quick. 9:09 to go, no score here, top of the first quarter. There is JEPPSON. And JEPPSON swinging it out, but being strung out by the defense, and Sean JEPPSON, a little bit of deception there, but run out of bounds by Matt Dunning. After a very short game, it'll bring up a 4th down, and we will see a punt from Spring Valley Hall.
Well, that was real good pursuit. Backside pursuit as well as play side pursuit, where they just went flat down the line of scrimmage, took all the angles away, and he could not turn that corner.
Craig Olson is the punter, number 24, back deep.
Bad snap.
And the snap is bad, and they get it off a little bit blocked, but if anything, a bit of a break here for Hall. That could have been a touchdown going the other way, but the ball does come out at the 40 before it's down. A real problem on the snap, a 16-yard punt, but believe it or not, it could have been worse for Hall.
We can see right there, it's a real high snap, and he's very fortunate to get this off. How he got it off is beyond me. Of course, he kicked it across his body, but at least he got it out a little bit. Great field position now.
Ball down there by Jeremy Bertrand, one of the linemen. And back in business for Carterville. Once again, it's Pinkston shooting through, and he gets 4 yards to the 35. Josh Turgaletti coming up from his strong side linebacker position for the tackle. There's Billy Pinkston. Well, both these teams don't seem to have too much of a problem running. We haven't seen anybody slip yet, although the ball may be a little bit slick and getting slicker, especially after we saw what happened on the punt snap. Chastain to the left. Ward to the right. In the slot, Pinkston. And straight ahead. Once again, we see Billy Pinkston. Adam Curran making the stop. And he will be about 2 or 3 yards short of a 1st down. Call it 3rd and 2. Casey Ward comes in. So Mark Chastain goes out. On a 3rd and short. Nate Addison, a wide receiver, split right. Once again to give, and this time met in the backfield. Sean Berkman, the sophomore, made an outstanding play to force a 4th down situation, and here we'll see the young sophomore do his thing.
You can see right there he was in the gap. He didn't really have to beat anybody as much as he had to just shoot the gap there, and at 5'11", 230 pounds, and only a sophomore, he moved pretty well.
Carterville will go for it. They're at the 32. They have to get the ball just beyond the 30. One back set. Here's the pitch. And Pinkston with second effort.
I don't think he got the mark here.
Well, we'll see. The ball is just across the nose. The nose of the ball just across the 30. They have to get. This is going to be very close. Looking across the sidelines, they'll bring the chains in. Berkman again on the stop.
Wayne Kendall, the referee here, at his initial mark down there. I think they just had to get beyond the line, and I don't think they got it.
And here come the chains as you look at Billy Pinkston. No score, 6:21 to go first quarter. And if the official, no, they did not make it. And the ball goes over to Spring Valley Hall.
At the 30-yard line.
Gary Vicini looking on, a good defensive stop by Hall, so they will take over at their own 30. With their second possession of this game. 6 minutes, 21 seconds to go. And Sean JEPPSON leads them out. Single back set. And this is Borowski, who is the fullback, and Mike Borowski, 3 yards to the 33. Sean Wade, senior middle linebacker, making the stop.
Tried to run an inside trap there, and they really got no movement off the line of the scrimmage from the defensive line. And of course, they're trying to move over some big people. 240-pounder sitting right in there, and a 260-pounder. They're tough to get out of there.
Look at Mike Borowski. He looks very much like last year's fullback, a fellow named Nick Garini, who scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute and a half of the championship game to win. Second back through gets this ball, and nobody is fooled as Josh Turigliatti is brought down by Brett Dial, a cornerback. Dial, a good play coming up from that position. Maybe lost a yard, bring up 3rd down.
Second back through, you can see right here where they faked to the fullback, draw the defense in there, and the wingback was the second man through, and he tried to bounce it outside, but Brett Dial came up, a 6'1", 160-pound senior, made a nice tackle.
There's Dial. Brett Dial. 3rd and 8 from the 32. Receiver split left and right with a slot. One back set. Look inside. Looking for Bryant. It's picked off. Orlandi. Check it. It is Dial again. And Brett Dial to the 10, the 5 to the 4-yard line. Interception by Brett Dial. 35-yard return. And what a big play for Carterville.
You'll see right here when he throws it, it's deflected right there. It's not a good pass initially. It's deflected. Dial picks it off after making a nice open field tackle in the play before. Does a nice job of running down here. 6'1", 160-pounder.
Got a good block there from Clint Walker, too, on his way down. So the ball is inside the 5. And if Spring Valley Hall held before, they are being tested here. There is Brock Lovelace. They come out in a wishbone set. Pinkston to the goal line. Touchdown, Carterville.
Didn't take long to go to the bread and butter running back. Some nice blocking at the point of attack. Take advantage of that big turnover early. Don't waste any time. Punch it in the end zone.
21st touchdown for Billy Pinkston. A 4-yard run. And that opens the scoring with 4 minutes, 49 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Jonah FORE, number 31, trying for the extra point. Right through. So Carterville takes advantage of the turnover, the interception, and goes for the touchdown. They lead at 7-0. We'll be back right after this. Carterville has struck first after a turnover, leading this 3A championship game here in the first quarter. Jonah FORE has the ball on the tee. And three deep men, Chad Turpin, number 35, Eric Bryant in the middle, and DJ Glenn to run this one back. But it's a very short kick. Fumble. The ball is free, and Carterville's got it again. Looks like Glenn, number 40, fumbled the ball. And Jeff Cook, number 63, Shawn Wade coming up with the turnover. 2 in as many plays.
Let's take a look at it here. Just a high kick, a combination of taking your eyes off and elbows out. Bounces right off the bottom of his shoulder pads. Never had a chance. Big play, big turnover.
DJ Glenn, just a sophomore. He's been running back kicks most of the year, but a big turnover again with a 7-0 lead. Carterville looking for more. Lovelace looking wide open for Chasteen, just off his fingertips. Mark Chasteen had that one go off his fingertips. Here's another look at Pinkston's touchdown.
You can see at the point of attack, Ryan Gullett, 6'6", 275-pound senior, blocking down, and then FORE coming down, a 240-pound tight end with the fullback kicking out. It's tough to run. It's tough to stop a running game like that, where the offensive lineman had such tremendous size.
You saw that scoring drive, not much of one, only 4 yards after the interception and return. 2nd and 10 from the 24. Richard in motion. They give us to Pinkston again, a quick hit, and Pinkston close to the 20-yard line, met by a host of Red Devils, led by Sean Berkman again.
Well, the offensive line for Carterville averages 230 pounds, 6'2" in height. That's a big offensive line for high school, especially for 3A.
Yeah, you look at Gullett, who's 6'6", 275. Chamberlain, 6'4", 270. Maurer, 6'0", 275. A couple of runts in the middle, only 6'3", 195, and 5'10", 210. And Smith and Cook, they're pretty big themselves. 2nd down play, again the play action. This time Mason cannot hold on.
Can you imagine how badly the turkey population was depleted down in Carterville with all those kids after him? 20-pound bird was like an hors d'oeuvre.
Ouch. Mason knew he should have had it. And it's a 4th down play. 6 yards to go. Choir boy huddle used by the Lions. And again, while they have a field goal kicker, and FORE has kicked 3 field goals in the playoffs, he will try it here.
It's into a very difficult win.
And it's a 37-yard kick. Which is up. And it is just off to the right and short. As he looks at it, off to the left and short. So Spring Valley Hall dodges a bullet there, but it is still 7-0 Carterville as the Red Devils take over. 3:53 to go first quarter. There's a good look at Jonah FORE. That's a tough kick. You're going 40 yards into the wind.
Well, it's a gamble. You come down here, you want to get something out of it. I don't think he really felt as if he had a shot at it, but that drop pass into the flat to the running back, he's wide open. That's a big play. That might come back to haunt him later on.
JEPPSON and company back to work. The wing back right, and they give us to Eric Bryant. They've been trying to get him going. Bryant picks up 4 yards.
Well, they need to get those linebackers to stay home inside, and they have to be able to run the ball up inside in order to be able to spring Eric Bryant on the outside, and so that's why they're trying to get inside. But anytime you can get 4 yards on any particular play, and especially in 1st down, that's a good football play.
Wade, the middle linebacker, made the stop along with Jeff Cook, the defensive right end. Full house backfield now. 2nd and 6. And we get a whistle, and I believe the play clock may have expired before the ball was snapped.
We have a dead ball foul. False start on the offense.
Well, it's a false start.
Preliminary signal.
Called by Wayne Kendall. He leads this crew of officials.
Excellent crew. Seen them in many games this year.
That's a Chicago area crew, so you would, Jack, over down or south.
Excellent football officials.
Spring Valley's offense negligent so far with 9 minutes gone in this game. Just about 5 yards of offense, and they're going backwards now. 2nd and 11. The wing back. Eric Yearley in motion. Jepson, inside handoff. And back to the original line of scrimmage was Borowski. It'll still bring up a 3rd and long.
That was the old wrap-around draw. Watch him, he'll go beyond the back and then wrap it around, right back around in here.
That's one variation of the Statue of Liberty.
Certainly is.
We've seen it all, right? We saw the
right.
hook and ladder in the 1A game, a little Statue of Liberty here.
Really seen a lot of America today.
3rd and 9. Spring Valley looking for its first down of this ball game, and you see neither team has converted a first down so far. Jepson looking right, throwing right, and there's an example of the crown probably coming up to bite the quarterback. Right there, these teams are not used to playing on the crown field, and the ball thrown to the sideline usually goes about 6 feet over the receiver's head, as it did there.
The only time the quarterback is throwing from the middle of the field and he throws them out away from the hash marks, it really goes downhill from those hash marks.
So once again, Spring Valley Hall will have to punt, and it was an adventure last time with the bad snap. Greg Olson back at his own 10-yard line to get it away. This time he does, gets a nice kick away. All the way back to his own 43 is Chasteen, and Chasteen ridden out of bounds by Reed. With 1:48 to go, a good kick, 38 yards, and turned out no return. Mark Chasteen being driven out of bounds. You can see the rain coming down. It is a much harder rain than it was when we began this game, and the forecast is for this to continue through most of the evening. So Carterville with 1:48 to go on the clock. There you take a look at Kerry Martin in his 3rd year as coach of the Lions. Went to Carbondale, originally from Salem, Illinois. Here's the quick hit. And this is Kenny Richard. And Richard gets good first down yardage, about 5 to midfield. Story of the game there, Carterville, which was a 2A team until the cuts were made based, of course, on school enrollment to divide up the schools in the playoffs. So Carterville now moved up to 3A, and they're doing fine. They're here in the finals.
They were on the bubble. They would have been one of the right at the top of the 2As and got bumped up.
2nd and 2 from the wishbone, and the give for first down yardage goes to Billy Pinkston before Mike Chasey makes the stop. Mike Chasey, a 6'2", 218-pound junior defensive lineman, is in place of their leading tackler by the name of Joe Thompson. Thompson, as we see the replay here, cannot play in this game. He was ejected from the semifinal, hit a player out of bounds, personal foul and an ejection, and that means much like in soccer. If you get that red card, you're out for the following game, even if it's the state championship. 1st and 10 from the 44, and breaking too soon was Richard from the left half spot. All the rushing yardage so far by
Have a
Billy
dead
Pinkston.
ball foul. Encroachment on the defense.
Well, they called defensive encroachment first. We saw the left halfback breaks Richard, but it looked like Nick Sterling, the big 6'7" end. There's Nick. Jumped a little bit into that neutral zone. So 1st and 5 inside the 40-yard line. Lovelace hands it off to the first man through, and that is Ryan Hess. And Ryan Hess finally gets some yardage that Billy Pinkston didn't.
Well, they're trying to quick hit him. Excuse me, Mike. They're trying to get right at him and pop it in there as quick as they can, and that's a nice run right there.
Joey Reed making the tackle, and final seconds here in the first quarter, 23 and counting. 2nd down and 8. And this time again it's Richard, and Richard wrestled down close to first down yardage as the first quarter comes to an end. It will be another first down for Carterville, but that should be the last play of the first quarter. As soon as they mark the ball, the clock will start and presumably run out. Now those muffs are pretty good for the quarterbacks. Keep their hands warm as Lovelace is doing that. We'll have a couple of more minutes to cool it, as that is the end of the first quarter with the score in the Class 3A Championship. Carterville 7, Spring Valley Hall nothing. Well, the crowd is damp, the spirits are not. We want to tell you right now that this broadcast is brought to you by Sports Channel and Intersport Television and the Illinois High School Association. They have granted the rights to today's football state championships. Any rebroadcast of this event without the written consent of the IHSA, Sports Channel, and Intersport Television is strictly prohibited. Mike Liederman along with Jack McInerney, Dave Turner, our Sports Channel crew. And once again, Billy Pinkston, who's been grinding out most of the yardage for Carterville and has the only score of the game. Stopped by Chazy after picking up about 4 yards. Taking a look at the first quarter statistics, and it is all Carterville, Jack.
And if we took a survey here and I was charting this, they'd be running probably 9 out of 10 plays to the left behind that big offensive left side of the line, 260-pound guard and a 275-pound tackle. You don't have to be too bright to run behind them.
And Lovelace gives it off to Pinkston again, and Josh Turriglietti, the linebacker, comes up to make the stop along with Nick Sterling. Good play here by Hall.
You can see they're just getting in the seam. He just matadors that block and comes up and makes the tackle. And it's just a nice job by Nick Sterling. And of course, being 6'7", he's got he can see over that blocker. There he is right there, 6'7", 200-pound junior.
3rd down and 5. Lovelace looks and overshoots his man. The closest to it was Eric Bryant. Of course, he was wearing the wrong uniform.
That ball really just sailed on him.
Could be the ball being wet had an effect right here. Again, he's throwing from the middle of field.
And it's just a 3-step drop.
Whoa.
It really, it was a combination of the thumb squeezing a little too long, held it a little too long, and a combination of the moisture on it. He got a sailor, as we say.
So 4th down, this being 4-down territory. Hall will go. Hall will try to stop Carterville as the Lions go for it. Play action. Lovelace in trouble. Bumps into his own man and throws complete for the 1st down. What a play by Brock Lovelace. Now Lovelace is a strong kid, but he threw it to Mason, who caught it with a foot in bounds, and that's all he needed. It's ruled a catch, Jack.
This is exactly the same play that in the first quarter that he tried to get out there and that he dropped, and here he drills it right in here, and he ends up picking the first down up. That was a big play.
Heady play by Brock Lovelace. He's a big kid, and we know he's strong, 6'2", 200. We've seen him throw with defensive linemen wrapped around his ankles, but there he had to push his own man out of the way, and that was Billy Pinkston, and managed to complete the pass. So the drive continues, 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Wing back left, and here's the inside handoff.
And on that last play, I called it as a 1st down, and obviously
I guess it was not.
Short. Yeah,
let's check that again. We stand
got the wrong
corrected.
mark. We have 2 sets of markers down here, and we were looking across the field, and the one down here was completely different, and they came up about 1.5 yards short.
So we stand corrected, and you wonder why Spring Valley Hall is running an offense if Carterville gets a 1st down. Obviously, they were short. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 27-yard line. The full house backfield with the unbalanced line for the Red Devils. JEPPSON's got a man, and it's complete. It is Eric HIRST to the 45-yard line, inside the 45-yard line of Carterville. Eric HIRST, 28-yard completion from JEPPSON, and HIRST was waiting for that ball and was just hoping it would get to him, but it did.
He really was wide open here, and he looked him away. You can see him coming right here, and by the time the ball gets there, the linebacker is able to get back there. He has to wait for it, and he gets enough help to come over here and to make it a 28-yard gain instead of a 78-yard touchdown.
Mark Chastain over there to make the stop, along with Kenny Richards. So the first real offense shown by Spring Valley Hall from the 44-yard line of Carterville. They line up with the wing back left. JEPPSON being pursued, and Sean JEPPSON run out of bounds by Dial.
Dial's done a nice job playing out that corner at 6'1", 160-pound senior. He did not bite on the play fake inside, was playing a zone scheme out in the flat. You can see right in here that he just came right out. I don't know if that was a broken play, but you can see Dial right there. He just had the flat responsibility the entire time and was never faked out at all by that move.
Loss of 4, second down 14, 9:19 to go in the first half. Spring Valley Hall, after gaining its first down now, 2nd and 14, trailing 7-0. Flag goes down and the play clock had run down to 0, so Hall, which had a big offensive play now, and you see Gary Vicini not happy. Not happy.
Not happy at all. He wants that play, get in and out of the huddle and call the play. You cannot afford to lose 5 yards in a situation like this, especially when you're going into the wind. Now they've got 2nd and 15.
2nd and 20, actually.
Yeah.
Ball on their own 46. Again, the full house backfield with Turigliatti on the wing. Play fakes. JEPPSON again in trouble, trying to get to the line of scrimmage, and he's dragged down by Clint Walker, the defensive right tackle. Gets to midfield, but that's still a long way, Jack, for first down.
It is, and he had Joey Reed, the tight end, coming across the field. He had him open, but they had such a push defensively up the field that he really never had a chance to get the ball to Joey Reed. Even though he's 6'5", he was wide open, but by the time he was able to release it, he had too much pressure.
Once you heard that whistle, 25-second play clock starts. Now they're quickly up to the line. 3rd and 16. Yearly in motion. Tight formation. JEPPSON with time. Shoots it across the middle, and again it's almost intercepted. This time it's Casey Ward, the closest man to it, and once again the drive stalls for Spring Valley Hall.
Well, it's a combination of playing good coverage in the secondary, but also the fact that the defensive line of Carterville is pushing up the field. And again, you know, that's a big defensive line. They average 225 pounds, and the offensive line for Spring Valley is only 202. And so there's a lot of size there pushing up the field.
Olsen gets a low snap this time, fields it nicely into the wind, takes a Hall bounce. A very nice bounce for Hall down inside the 25-yard line. So a good job by Craig Olsen. It's a 27-yard punt, but decent field position. And Carterville will start again, leading 7-0 when we come back. We just saw a reminder of what's upcoming. The 4A game tonight, 5A and 6A tomorrow on Sports Channel. You look at Kerry Martin, his 3rd year as coach. Right now, his team has the 7-0 lead. And with the ball on their own 27, 8:18 to go here in the first half. And this is Richard. Richard swinging the right side, gets good yardage, close to first down yardage. For he is ridden out of bounds by Adam Curran. Working the right side of the line that time behind Smith and Maurer.
Well, you can see the play side guard pulls and the tight end and tackle block down, so they're able to get to the perimeter. And of course, coming out of that wishbone, he's got 2 lead blockers in front of him, so they're out manning the corner, and they did a nice job of being able to turn the corner here.
Christian Coogan, who would come in at the offensive one of the offensive line spots, a good block to help Spring Richard, and this will be close to a first down, but not quite. He may be about 6 inches, well, a foot short. Well, we found out what happened on that change of possession play. I guess the chains on either side of the field were not aligned, so what looked like a first down on the west end was not a first down on the east end, and that's where the chain that mattered is placed. So 2nd and call it 1. Wishbone set here. And going through quickly is number 22, Pinkston again, and if he's got it, he doesn't have it by much. Pinkston, not a big back, but certainly a durable one. They've got that whole mighty might lineup there with Richard at 5'8", Mason at 5'9", Pinkston at 5'10". And Carterville comes up with the first down.
Well, you know, they run behind these big kids. The line is 6'2", 230 pounds on an average, and the backs are 5'10", 164. So it's very similar to some of these college teams do now. They get those big offensive linemen, get the little backs in behind, and they kind of just hide back there.
Brock Lovelace brings him up. 1st and 10. Pinkston again, and Pinkston trying to break free across the 40-yard line. Nick Sterling had a hold of him. In the old days of the tearaway jersey, he would have been long gone, but still managed to hang on this time. Let's go down to Yvonne.
Hey, you guys, you keep on talking about the offensive line for Carterville being huge. Well, they have actually lost weight after last November when they were defeated by Sullivan. The offensive line was accused of being not so mobile. So Chamberlain, Gullett, and Mower shed pounds. Chamberlain, for example, weighed 300 pounds down to 260 now. And the rest of the line used the offseason to bulk up.
Well, so you've got Jenny Craig as an assistant coach, huh? Pinkston again. Check it. That's Ryan Hess, and Ryan Hess dragged down again by Sterling. He's got that jersey tackled down to his science.
It's tough to get around him. You can see he's coming down hard inside. He's got those long arms to accompany that 6'7" frame. And he's just not letting them get to the line of scrimmage.
Well, when they're in the wishbone, it's usually Hess is the fullback and Richard and Pinkston is the halfbacks. And they gave it to the fullback as the second man through. So 3rd down and a long 2. Lovelace, again Pinkston, and again he's driven back. Josh Turigliatti, and once again Nick Sterling. So Sterling has come up golden here on this series.
That was a good stop, and that's exactly what Spring Valley needed right here. You can see the tackles are blocking down, and as soon as that tackle takes the angle down on the inside linebacker, the down lineman that is over him just comes right in behind him and is getting penetration, and that's what making the plays the last 2 times. And Nick Sterling right there, 6'7", 200-pounder, has been doing a great job.
A good job fighting off the block by Josh Turigliatti to make that play as well. So Jonah 4 on 4th and 4. We'll kick it away.
Wow.
Big kick. Back, and what a bounce inside the 15-yard line. No return. Bryant can only take a look. The ball goes out of bounds at the 13. A big 47-yarder off the foot of Jonah 4. Again, going into the wind still with all that rain in your face. Quite an achievement.
Sometimes it's a game of field position. You're just playing chess back and forth to see who gets the best field position, can capitalize on it.
Well, that's really what this is. Now the turnover led to the early touchdown back in the 1st quarter. And the defense for Spring Valley Hall is stiffened. Now the Red Devils have to see if they can get some offense going. Basically, they've only had one offensive play that worked at all here in the 1st half. Wing back left. And the give to Borowski, and Borowski's got some room to run. Mike Borowski close to the 30-yard line. Chastain drives him out of bounds, but a good pickup, 1st down yardage and more.
Well, Mike Borowski had 1,000 yards during the season. He averaged over 6 yards a carry. You can see right there why 5'10", 190-pound junior does a nice job there of picking up that 1st down.
16-yard pickup, ball now up to the 29-yard line. Clock moving now with 5:10 to go. Spring Valley Hall, defending 3A champions. As you look at Mike Borowski, trailing 7-0. One back on the eye, actually, and once again it is Borowski, the fullback. This time he is stopped almost dead in his tracks. Mike Berry, backup linebacker.
The key to this play was the 2 tackles pinching down hard inside. John Chamberlain, 6'4", 260, number 77 there. And then Jonah 4, 6'4", 240-pounder. They really stuffed it up inside where the linebackers were able to come in and clean up.
Second and 10, no gain on that play. Jepson to throw, throws it across the middle. It's tipped, and it's intercepted again. It's Chastain. Mark Chastain down inside the 30-yard line. And the second interception suffered by Shawn JEPPSON and the Red Devils. 17-yard return, and Carterville's in business again.
Well, this is a tip pass off the play action. Tries to go under, and you can see it's tipped high in the safety, the old tip drill, but he is playing so deep, comes right down to him, and he's off to the races. Now excellent field position.
Well, Spring Valley again thwarted the third turnover for the Red Devils. Meanwhile, there was an ambulance on the Spring Valley side of the field, and a second one is coming up behind the stadium. We're going to try to get, that's a fire engine. We're going to try to get that.
I think it's somebody in the stands.
Meanwhile, action continues. Here is the quarterback, Lovelace, and Brock Lovelace gets inside the 20. Brock Lovelace taking the ball. Sean Berkman on the stop. Clock now down to 4 minutes here in the first half. And the ball on the 15-yard line. Meanwhile, we remind you the Chicago Tribune is the official newspaper of the IHSA State Championships. Pick up the Trib for complete coverage of Illinois high school sports. Chicago Tribune. 1st and 10 from the 16. And whistle. Flags. See what the call is here. Officials confer. The play clock still had a couple of seconds to go, and we'll get the call from Wayne Kendall.
Dead ball foul. Defense encroached before the false start.
Well, another mistake by Hall, and again, you see how many times the defending champions can get away with this kind of mistake, and we'll take a look over there.
You can see the movement right there. He encroaches, goes across that line, and of course in high school football, all you've got to do is go across it, and that's a penalty. You do not have to make contact.
Jerry Bertrand on the penalty. So 1st and 5 from the 11. The give is to Pinkston down to the 5. Pinkston following his blockers. Got nice feet, picking his hole nicely. And Pinkston stopped by Nick Sterling. 3:22 to go in the first half. Clock is running, and so is Carterville toward the Red Devils goal line.
Well, part of the key to this is that the offensive line is sustaining their blocks and staying on these guys and giving those backs an opportunity to run. Here we go again. Another easy 5-yard penalty.
This one will be
half the distance.
Half the distance, yeah, against Spring Valley Hall, apparently.
These are the penalties that absolutely kill you.
Dead ball foul. Encroachment on the defense. Half the distance to the goal.
And the transition sometimes for offensive and defensive linemen is they come across and they listen to the sound of the cadence of the quarterback, and they get drawn off by the inflection of the voice of the quarterback. They just haven't transferred the fact that they're now on defense. You can take a look at him right here. Jumping across, and again, no contact is necessary in high school football, and there's an easy 5-yard gain. Half the distance.
The ball now down to the 3-yard line. Nate Addison has come in. He is split to the left there. The wishbone. And here is Richard, and Richard stopped at the 2. Bryant coming up along with number 21, Tony Orlandi, the safety.
Nice job of closing that down. Originally it looked like he had some running room, and then Bryant and Orlandi came in and closed it down. Spring Valley would be real lucky here to hold them. I'm sure that they'd settle for a field goal attempt.
Ball just at the 1. 2nd down and a quick snap. Touchdown, Carterville. Brock Lovelace going over on the keeper. Brock Lovelace scores the touchdown behind Cook and Jeremy Smith. Quick count. Again, he knew that, smart quarterback, he knew that Spring Valley Hall had jumped a couple of times, so he just went right away.
Well, he came up on the ball, and of course, most good teams have what they call a silent count. You come up, and he just, by the movement of his hand with the center, he's off to the races, and that was a quick score for Brock Lovelace. You can see why he's an all-state football player.
13-0. Jonah for the kick is up and good. So we'll see the touchdown again, and a 2-touchdown lead now for the Lions of Carterville.
You can see right there, nobody else moves except Jeff Cook, the center, and that is a silent count quarterback sneak where his hand, he just moves the hand underneath the center. The center knows to snap it because there was nobody over the center. And of course, Jeff Cook, a 6'3", 195-pound veteran senior, snapped the ball, and it's an easy touchdown for Brock Lovelace.
So Spring Valley Hall, with turnovers and penalties, really hurting itself. Carterville has been able to take advantage to the tune of 2 touchdowns here in the first half in a rainy Hancock Stadium. Coming up at halftime, we'll chat with Don Robinson of the Illinois High School Association. We'll talk about new plans for football and other sports, things that are going on. 27-yard scoring drive, if you will. 2:12 on the clock. Capped by the quarterback sneak by Brock Lovelace. And the turnovers again hurt Spring Valley Hall. So Carterville in command here as FORE kicks it off. Gets a good foot into it. Taken by Bryant on his own 5. 25, Bryant with a seam. And Eric Bryant down the sidelines, tripped up across midfield. Outstanding run by Eric Bryant. Kenny Richard tripped him up, knocked him out of bounds, but not before a 54-yard return by Eric Bryant, and that's why he is an all-state player. We've been looking for it, and there he showed it.
And this is also the guy that has to get his act together in the second half and start doing what he's doing right here on this kickoff return. He's really been a silent commodity in the first half, and for a guy that's a 1,000-yard rusher and catches the ball as well as he does, they have to get more production out of him in the second half.
Well, they have a minute 52 to make something happen here in the first half. And the give. And going down close to first down yardage by the 30 is Mike Borowski. Borowski stopped, tripped up by Matt Dunning, and Spring Valley starting to get some offense going.
Well, theoretically, on paper, they're more of an offensive juggernaut than Carterville because they have 2 backs that have rushed for over 1,000 yards, and they have a quarterback that has thrown for over 1,000 yards. So really, they've still been in first gear so far.
We saw Gary Vicini here, the handoff to Josh Turgoletti, and Turgoletti still on his feet. And Josh Turgoletti with a fine run gets out of bounds. A minute 14 to go. Mark Chastain knocked him out. Look at the rain, but look at the Red Devils cheer. There's Vicini talking to Yearly, and watch this again.
You can see a little full block here, but the key is outside on that flanker. He's doing a great job of holding and helps set up that run. But you can see they're going to go into the second half with the adjustments they're making now. We're going to see the same kind of a scheme for the second half for Spring Valley.
Eric HIRST splits right. Deuce backfield, and they give quickly up to Borowski. Check it, it's Josh Turgoletti, and Turgoletti inside the 10. Spring Valley Hall coming to life in the final 2 minutes here in the first half. Clock continues to run, under a minute to go. Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. Still 3 timeouts left for both teams. Turgoletti and Bryant in the backfield, and they give it to Turgoletti looking for the first down. He is close. Again, we'll have to see about the mark. Clock down to 39 seconds. Matt Dunning the tackle.
Well, this would be a major morale booster for Spring Valley here to go in. If they can score, put some points on the board at the close of the first half here to help them come out with some momentum in the second half. Because they really have been shut down thus far.
And they've been hurting themselves. Really.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It obviously has not been one of their better halves of football. And they have an awful lot of offensive potential to score with all the tools they have. But maybe now they're just kind of waking up a little bit.
Well, they like to live dangerously. They trailed Marengo 21-7 in the semifinal before coming back to win 41-28. And this is an interesting Josh Turgoletti yard mark, it looks like. I don't know.
Could be his brother.
Yeah, Could be Jeff. Yeah. Jeff is an engineering student now at the University of Illinois. We told you he was the quarterback last year to lead this team to a state championship. So 3rd and 1. The handoff. Turigliatti again to the 1-yard line. Josh Turigliatti is doing the job. Brett Dial making the stop a yard short of the end zone. They'll take another timeout.
And this really is a situation where you'll call 2 plays. Being down here, you don't want to come out empty-handed. You can see they're trying to pick up the first down. They're doubling a double team at the point of attack. Nice job, but it's a better job of running here where he spun out and picked up that first down. You can see right there the guard and the tackle, number 79, doing a nice job of double teaming. He just does a good job of putting his head and shoulders down and picking up that first down. Now again, we're down to 32 seconds, so I'm sure they're calling 2 plays. They don't want to take a chance on not getting the opportunity to score down here.
And they have 1 timeout left.
The other thing they can do with 1 timeout is in high school football now you can spike the ball, but you do have to be under center. You cannot take more than 1 step. You have to throw it down forward. It's a new rule where you can spike the ball and that can stop the clock for them.
Carterville 14, Spring Valley Hall nothing, but the Red Devils are driving. 32 seconds to go first half. Gary Vicini now goes off the field. The rain continues. And here we go. Can the Lions hold them? First down from the 1. In motion is Eric Yearley. And the give again, and walking in is Josh Turigliatti. What blocking? No problem. It's 14-6.
Well, they had the entire defensive line stacked inside the tackles in all the gaps, and all they did was block down, and they sealed him off, and he just trotted in off tackle. That's a big play for them, getting that momentum back, getting back in the ball game. So at halftime, they're going to be encouraged to continue this kind of football.
Well, we've got a ball game here, and they will try the 2-point. No, they will try for the point after. Berkman, who is the kicker, the sophomore, who's done very well, been very consistent this year, and the whistle goes. Looks like encroachment again, but we'll have to sit and wait for the call.
Now, oftentimes, if it's encroachment on the defense, you're going to have, there's a possibility of going for
Dead
2.
ball foul. Encroachment on the defense.
Now, see, you're going half the distance.
So you're at the 1.5.
So a lot of times people change. They'll go for 2 down here. In a ball game like this, the way they've been playing so far.
Well, Matt McAdams, excuse me, Jack. Matt McAdams was looking to the bench to see what Vicini wanted him to do.
I'd go for 2 here, but that's why I'm up here. He's down.
And we're happy to have you. You know that.
Thank you. That's very thoughtful. Think about it.
Timeout, Spring Valley Hall. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank our spotter for today, Seth Burgels. Paul Maurer from Carterville is helping out as well. And as he is every year, handling statistics as only he can, David Berkson. And our Sports Channel crew doing a yeoman job keeping their lenses dry now. Jack, traditionally at this tournament we have had weather. We used to call this the 4 seasons because we often had them all in one day.
We certainly have. We've had those ice storms where the field was completely covered in ice, and I had to help you get up to the stands.
That's right,
so,
the cane.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Blizzards and rainstorms, just freezing weather. We've had it all down there.
And we're going to get it tonight too. Vicini has, I think, made a concession and put his hood up. See the Hall fans on the visiting team side.
And they are going for 2. Maybe someday I will get down there.
Turigliatti and Bryant in the backfield, along with Yearley in motion. JEPPSON looking and broken up nicely. Broken up very nicely once again by Kenny Richard.
Here's the run. You can see they walled him off inside. Everybody inside took a gap, and they walled everybody down. He just went off tackle, and just trotted in. Now here's the 2-point conversion right here. You see the tight end release, and they're trying to just a little fake here to the fullback. But what happened was that outside linebacker dropped off and picked him up. I think they thought everybody was going to bite on that dive fake, and they played a little soft there.
Well, the ball was intended for Joey Reed, and that was a repeat play that they used to win in the playoffs earlier against Driscoll. They trailed with no time left on the clock. They scored a touchdown at home to get within 21-20, and then instead of going for one to tie, they called that same play. Reed was wide open. It was a good 2-point conversion, and they won to move on to the semifinals.
Well, that's maybe why you thank your scouts. They did a nice job of scouting, and then, of course, the video exchanges, they saw that, and they were well prepared for it, because they certainly did defense it well.
Berkman to kick off. Final 29 seconds. He squibs it, and it's taken by Dial, and he covers up immediately at the 39-yard line. So Lovelace and company going with the wind. We'll have a crack at it. This is not a kneel-down situation.
No, it's not. But again, with the wind. But oftentimes you have with the wind with a dry football. Now you've got with the wind with a very wet football, and that does make a difference.
Well, Brock Lovelace can put the ball about 50 yards in the air, and
by their splits, they're just going to down it.
Yeah, they're real tight, so forget that idea, and they will end the first half with the knee. So both teams will go to the locker rooms, forget trying to get dry. They'll just try to talk some strategy. And we will have a chat with both coaches on either end of the half here. There's the crowd. It has been a good one. Spring Valley Hall and Carterville, with Carterville leading 14-6. That's the end of the first half. We will come back, show you some highlights, talk some football, and bring you lots more here on Sports Channel Plus.
Anything you want to talk about?
14-6 our score here at halftime of the Class 3A championship game. Carterville leading Spring Valley Hall. The Red Devils coming alive after 2 touchdowns by the Lions early on to bring the score 14-6. Well, we are back. The weather is not cooperating, but a guy who always cooperates with it is Don Robinson of the Illinois High School Association. Don, we're all bundled up. Good to have you here. And you know, every year we leave our families, we come down, we see the tournament, and it has been wonderful. And first couple of games today certainly keep that streak alive.
Well, I think somebody mentioned downstairs a while ago, we're on a streak of 7 in a row now, because the last 5 games last year and the first 2 this year were just unbelievable high school football games. The kids just have done a great job.
Yeah, let's talk about, so much for the softball questions, Don. Now for the hard stuff. One of the big issues now has been timing of these games.
Right.
The clock now, according to new National Federation rules, is stopped on a change of possession. It never used to be. And this is adding about 15 or 20 minutes or more to the length of games, which can be a concern, especially when you're talking not so much in the playoffs, but during the regular season at night. And these kids sort of have to get home.
Yeah. Well, I think, Mike, the complaint is legitimate when we're talking about schools who play double headers. However, during the regular season, 19 times was the most times that I saw the rule invoked in a football game. And if we say it's 30 seconds, and it's really 25 seconds, but if we say it's 30, that still figures out to less than 10 minutes on the length of the game. And I have the stats crew working on that rule this weekend, and we had the new rule applied 21 times in the first game, which is 10 minutes, and it only applied 14 times in the second game, so that's less than 7 minutes.
Let's not get too technical. When you say the new rule applied, meaning change of possession with a dead ball. Fact is, though, even this morning, we were talking about, I'd say 20 more minutes than last year. When you're talking about playing a sophomore game on a Friday evening, and then the varsity game, this could go maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night before the kids get home. You going to plan any changes?
Well, I don't know, Mike. Somebody's got to adjust. You know, either we need to adjust the rule some way, or the schools are going to have to start their games earlier. And I know in some of our suburban areas, it's difficult to start the games earlier because two reasons. The kids will almost have to get out of school to get there, and we don't want that to happen, or the officials can't get there for those games. So we have both of those problems going on right now. Something needs to be adjusted, but I maintain that it is a good rule for football, and I'd like to see us be able to do both, to be honest with you.
All right, let's talk about classifications now. We've had the 6A classification, the sixth division since, what, I believe 1980. And there has been some talk about going to 8, has there not?
Yes, there has. The Football Advisory Committee last year, as a matter of fact, made that recommendation. At the same time, they made a recommendation for a change in the classification of public schools and not private schools, and our board chose not to deal with either one of those problems because they do affect classification, because at that time we had the task force working on the public-private issue.
So at this point, yeah, they're talking about keeping the public schools and private schools separated, which is a very controversial issue. Going to 8 classifications is also on hold for the time being.
Well, the Football Advisory Committee meets on December the 5th, and both of those items are back on the agenda. So, you know, we'll have some discussion on that this week.
Any idea which way it might go?
I have no idea whatsoever, although I think after the committee made the A-class recommendation last year, some people screamed awful loud about it. So I'm not sure that it's going to be as quite as welcome as it was last year for those committee members. And
right.
3 of them are new. So.
All right, Don, we'll let you get in out of the rain. We'll bring Jack McInerney in when we come back. Don Robinson from the Illinois High School Association. We'll bring you more halftime activities. There's the band, and we'll bring you some highlights next. (14-6) our score at halftime. The 3A championship game high atop the press box at Hancock Stadium here in Normal, Illinois. We're huddling together for warmth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't read anything else into this. Jack McInerney, Mike Lederman. It is getting to be tougher and tougher to play out there.
Well, it certainly has negated the passing game. The running game is still a factor, as we saw with Spring Valley coming back. It will be a big factor as far as field position and using that wind, the punt and the kickoff in regard to who's going to end up with good field position.
Well, Carterville has managed to contain Eric Bryant pretty well. He did get away for the 1 kickoff return, but that's been pretty much it. Well,
they've contained him entirely, and I think that we saw in the last drive what they're capable of doing, and they're going to need to do this in the second half if they want to get back in the ball game. They have all the tools. They have 2 running backs both with over 1,000 yards, but they haven't been able to do anything thus far.
And give Carterville credit. This is a veteran team. They've got 8 starters back on offense and 8 on defense. So this is a team that's been together for a while, and they certainly know what they want to do. Gary Vicini, on the other hand, is really breaking in a lot of new players to go with the people whom he depends on, like JEPPSON and Bryant.
Well, I think that they'll kick in. They'll make some adjustments. They did a nice job of making some adjustments in that last drive. Not so much with who was carrying the football, but with blocking schemes at the point of attack. I think we'll see more of that in the second half.
All right, we'll see lots more football tonight as well. Coming up after this game, we'll have the 4A game. Metamora and Providence. Will Providence ever lose? Well, we'll see tonight. They certainly don't intend to. And then tomorrow on Sports Channel, we'll bring you the 5 and 6A games. Jim Blaney, Ron Rivera with the big matchup, Joliet Catholic Mount Carmel. And Jack and I will bring you the defending champ Tigers of Wheaton-Warrenville South, once again trying to repeat against Lincoln Way and the Knights. So right now, we will take a break, come back with some highlights of the first half action here at the Class 3A Championship in Normal. Once again, you see the traffic going down to Normal. We must tell you, we did mention that there was a couple of ambulances coming in to attend to some people. Turned out to be people in the stands, and we hope they were all right. None of the players was affected. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the highlights. First half action here, and it began all Carterville here in the first quarter with Spring Valley Hall's SHAWN JEPPSON, and watch the deflection here.
Right there, you can see it was a wobbly pass, and it was deflected, and it's picked off and going down the sidelines, and makes a nice run back right here down about the 3 or 4 yard line.
That's Dial, and knocked out of bounds, and that set up this run by Billy Pinkston.
Billy Pinkston just good blocking at the point of attack, lowers his shoulder, good second effort right here, spins into the end zone for 6.
More problems for Hall in the second quarter again. As Woody Hayes said, 3 things can happen with a pass. 2 of them are bad and seem to happen right here. Another deflection.
Another deep deflection. And both of those pass interceptions have been situations where they've just been deflecting that results in that turnover.
That's Mark Chastain, and he takes it for 17 yards. Meanwhile, it sets up the quarterback sneak by Lovelace.
Silent count. All he does is tap the center. The center drives forward. Nice block by Cook.
Late in the first half, though, Spring Valley Hall gets on the board. Josh Turgiletti.
Turgiletti does a nice job here. Good job by the offensive line of blocking down. But the key is the 2-point conversion that they missed.
Well, you see the big statistic highlighted in yellow. 3 big turnovers, 2 of which turned into 14 points. Spring Valley Hall gave them to Carterville. Okay, the teams are coming out of the locker room. They'll have made their adjustments. Again, the weather continues to deteriorate. What can we look for in the second half?
Well, I think the running game, especially the blocking at the point of attack, I think they made some adjustments against the defensive schemes. I think Spring Valley is going to, has to, unleash that running game that's been so potent coming into the playoffs here. And as they showed us in that last drive, they're going to have to do a better job up front, and I think that's been the key.
All right, we'll be ready for the second half kickoff right after this. Well, the fans are here, so's the rain, and so in the middle of all this is Yvonne.
Yes, I'm in the middle of all of this, but it's all right. You know, we're standing here now with Carterville's coach, Carrie Martin, and I want to ask you, Spring Valley Hall got a little bit of momentum going into the second half and halftime. What do you say to your defense to get back on track?
Well, we told them they played really well for 22 minutes. The last 2 minutes of the half, we kind of had a letdown. That can't happen in a championship game, so hopefully we can rebound and do a good job at the beginning of this third quarter.
Now you're a passing team. How does your strategy change at all, this driving rain and on the conditions?
Well, we've had to go to a little more ball control, and hopefully we can throw the ball a little bit in the second half and make some things happen.
Last words as you came out in the field.
I'm sorry?
Last words as you came out to the field.
I told them believe. They got to still believe we're going to win this thing.
Okay, thanks. Good luck in the second half. Back to you.
Thanks, Yvonne. Bundle up.
I'm always amazed by these coaches that are playing for the state championship, the poise and composure that they show with these interviews. Really, I mean, you know, it's really interesting to watch.
Well, it's good to see, too. There's Gary Vicini. We miss Gary, but he is normally loquacious. I guess he's got a few other things on his mind right now. It's also good for the sport, you know. It's and to say something meaningful rather than the usual pablum is good. It means they think a little bit, too.
Well, we need to PR high school football in the state of Illinois, and I think these guys do an excellent job of doing it. And, of course, Sports Channel bringing these games has really hyped it.
Kerry Martin and Carterville. As you look at the assistants, Spring Valley Hall in the white, the defending 3A champions, looking for 2 straight, trailing 14-6. Again, a try for a 2-point conversion knocked down the pass attempt as Spring Valley Hall scored in the last 30 seconds of the half. Carterville will kick it off. Jonah FORE, number 31. He's got a big foot. We've seen that. Kicking now against the wind and up on their own 20-yard line. Chad Turpin, Eric Bryant in the middle, and DJ Glynn, number 40. It was Glynn who fumbled one of the kickoffs earlier that led to a turnover. Here's FORE. All set to go here in rainy, windy ISU. Squib kick down. Taken by HIRST. And Eric HIRST will give his team good field position across the 40-yard line to start things off here in the second half. 15-yard run back. And there's Sean JEPPSON and Eric Yearley talking to the head coach, Vicini. And we are ready to go here with the first offensive series.
Sometimes the question is asked, doesn't he know the play that he wants to call? The thing is, sometimes you have to wait because in a situation like this, field position is a big determining factor.
Wing right, and the give is to Josh Turgiletti, who really started to come on at the end of the first half. Turgiletti across the 45 near midfield.
Nice job of blocking by number 64, Chad Glover, who pulled out on that, a 5'10", 185-pound junior. And also the right tackle, Luke Maltus, 6'4", 215-pound senior. They did a real nice job of blocking on that side.
David Mason coming up from his linebacker spot to make the stop. Gain of 4. This is Bryant trying the right side. Bryant breaks into the secondary, and he is near midfield, but it'll be short of a first down. Sean Wade, the linebacker, tackling Eric Bryant.
Spring Valley likes to pull their guards on that play. Mike Chessie, 6'2", 218-pound left guard, pulled out in front of him, but there was good penetration by the linebackers coming up inside the seams and really held that play to no yardage.
Yearly coming in with the play from Gary Vicini. Well, they give him 1 yard, so it'll be a 3rd and 5. Single back, slot right, split left. JEPPSON back, pressured, and intended for Bryant, covered by Chastain, but good pressure from the defense, and it'll be 4th down for Spring Valley Hall.
Nobody ever touched Chamberlain. You'll see John Chamberlain, number 77, coming in the bottom of your screen right there, 6'4", 260-pound senior. And I hope he blew the whistle when he came in, because that was like a train coming in from the backside there. Look at the size of him. That's a well put together high school football player.
Craig Olson to punt. Chastain in single safety back on his own 15-yard line, again with the win. Wobbly kick taken on the 18 by Chastain. It's down he goes, tackled by Bryant. Good shoestring job to prevent a longer return. 34-yard punt, return is 7 yards, so Carterville will get its first offensive series here in the second half. You saw there Eric Bryant. 10 interceptions on the season, 1,000+ yards rushing and 500+ receiving. And here's Brock Lovelace. Lovelace, All-State quarterback. 20 touchdown passes. He's got a wishbone set behind him, and somebody looked like moved on the line for Carterville.
Dead ball foul. False start on the offense.
Officials again, it's Wayne Kendall, the referee. Walking off 5 yards against the Lions. Number 10, Bishop, comes in for Carterville. Mike Bishop. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention, in a game like this with the weather conditions as poor as they are, the officials really play a prominent role in how they officiate this kind of a ball game.
Back to pass goes Lovelace, looking deep, and it's intended for Ward, number 7, and overthrown. Ward downfield. Not a bad heave into the wind, but incomplete.
Well, sometimes what'll happen, even though it's incomplete, you'll get those corners backing off a little bit, so when they start running a toss into the sideline, or that receiver's running down the field, that back turns and runs with him, and he takes himself out of the play. So oftentimes, even though it's incomplete, it serves a purpose.
1 for 6 on the passing for Brock Lovelace. Obviously, not a night for passing. We'll show it to you again after this play, because there's something there. Again, Lovelace, and again, this one for Chastain should have been caught off the hands right in front of the head coach. You know, you really don't want to do that.
No, you don't. But the other part of that is, that's what we mentioned before about angles. He's throwing that ball in an out downfield, or excuse me, on the sideline, and if that ball's picked off, there is nobody there but the cheerleaders.
Well, he's a 47% passer, but that's 14% right there. And again, so much of it is weather conditions. But that one should have been caught. Easy for us to say up here. Brings up a 3rd down and 15, single back set. Receiver split, left and right. Lovelace with the draw play. And Pinkston gets a couple. He's brought down, though, quickly by Adam Curran, number 62, and it'll bring up a punting situation for Carterville.
Well, in a situation like this, when you have that long yardage, there's really only 2 plays you can run. especially when you go into the wind, because the defense is figuring you're not going to throw the ball deep into the wind, so you're going to run a draw or a screen. We haven't seen a screen, but a draw is a good, safe play down there.
9 minutes, 40 seconds to go. No scoring so far in the third quarter. 14-6, Carterville leads. Jonah FORE to kick.
And Spring Valley's going to get real good field position out of this change in possession.
Well, Bryant is standing inside midfield. And FORE kicks it out of bounds. And it will be marked on the 47-yard line of Spring Valley Hall. So his good field position is right. 30-yard punt into the wind. And the Red Devils trailing by 8. Is that right? 8? Yeah. Remember, we're mathematical geniuses up here.
Especially without our calculators. Wait till the numbers really get big.
Oh boy.
Kick off my shoes.
Double back set with the wing. Here is JEPPSON to throw, and he throws it. Got his man again, in and out of the hands of Reed. Well, Joey Reed had that one, but took his eyes off it, and wet ball and a little less concentration than he wanted, and we had an interception. Again, that could have been trouble too, because it was right in the middle of the field. Lots of Navy shirts running around there from defense.
Carterville is doing, their linebackers are very active on the underneath coverage and play action passes. They get underneath those receivers and really put a lot of pressure on that quarterback to put the ball on the money. They've done a real nice job taking away those throwing lanes and their drops.
Eric Miller under center, ready to snap. To JEPPSON. Straight back, looks, he's got a man open. And it is Yearly, but it is incomplete. Turned him around. Dial helping him up. Yearly again had the step, but the ball hung up a bit, and it was deflected by the secondary.
I don't think JEPPSON saw him immediately, and he had a little trouble right here on the grip. You can see with the way the ball is tailing right there that he did not have a real good grip on the football.
Chastain there on the coverage, along with Kenny Richard. JEPPSON also not exactly having a banner day passing. Again, that problem. The one pass, though, for 28 yards and 2 picks. So 3rd and 10 in the offset eye. Again, JEPPSON with the play action, flips this one out, and once again, through the hands of a receiver. This time it's Bryant. Jonah FORE on the coverage. And 3 and out.
They were throwing a middle screen there, and it had some possibilities. Take a look. Watch the lineman slide over right here. Eric Bryant, number 25, is in the middle of the pack, just turns around. And actually, that's a great play right there by number 31.
Jonah FORE.
Jonah FORE is doing a great job there, because that could have been a real big play. They really need to get a good punt here and put them down the hole.
Olsen again gets a tough snap. Almost blocked. End over end kick. Might have gotten a hand on it from Carterville. They're having snapping problems. Good roll past the 30-yard line, and it's still going. It's like one of those putts, you know.
In defense for the
that's the Energizer football, ladies and gentlemen.
The center, Eric Miller, that's a tough, he's snapping into the wind, even though the punter is kicking with the wind. That's a tough play for the center.
Okay, Carterville will go back on the attack, leading 14-6, 8:36 to go. We're going and coming back.
I think I have a microphone.
Carterville back on the attack out of the wishbone. And Lovelace gives it once again. It goes to Billy Pinkston.
Got a flag down.
Flag is down, a player is down. And preliminary signal was holding, but that signal came from one of the Red Devils. And we'll see what the call is.
The way the official marked that after he threw the flag, the holding call goes from the point of the hold.
Right. And it is a big walk. Here's the explanation. Well, the mic isn't working too well, but we get the idea. It is offensive holding, so the ball will come back. And quickly we do the math, so it'll be 1st and a bunch. Ball back now at the 12-yard line. So 1st and 21. Call it the 13. Richard in motion. Here's the pitch. And a shoestring tackle by Eric Bryant on Billy Pinkston. The Spring Valley Hall's defense, which has been a bend but not break entity this year, is now doing more than that. It's really coming on strong here. And Carterville has the 2 touchdowns, but really has been silent since early in the 2nd quarter offensively.
I've been very impressed with Eric Bryant as a defensive back. He hasn't been living up to his potential so far offensively, but he certainly has done a great job defensively for Spring Valley.
2nd and 20 with Addison split down the bottom of your screen. And once again, they give it to Richard, and Kenny Richard pursued by Turgaletti, and Josh Turgaletti misses that tackle, but coming through is HIRST, number 12. And again, a short green.
Both defenses are playing the perimeter very well. They're not being, with usually what happens on flow, they'll take off and take an angle of pursuit, but they've been staying home and doing a nice job. And consequently, the reverses and the counters for both teams have not been very effective.
Well, it'll be 3rd down, 15. Clock goes under 7 minutes. The score still 14-6. Carterville with the ball. Bishop splits right. Single back set. Slot back left. They go to change the play, and once again, it'll be a 5-yard walk-off, delay of the game. Too much time.
On the offense.
Well, before it was Spring Valley Hall, it couldn't get out of its own way. Now that bug is afflicting Carterville.
It certainly is, and of course at this point, what's 5 more yards, but could make a big difference if it's a big play here. But they're putting themselves in a hole, because if they don't pick up some decent yards, they're going to have to punt into a very heavy wind and give Spring Valley excellent field position. So these penalties that are nickel diming them are going to hurt them when it comes down to the kicking game here.
Conditions deteriorating, and the play is being affected. You almost think this is a will-to-win game. Whoever wants this one more is going to come away with a state championship. And a short gain here. It's going to be a punting situation as Pinkston just gets a couple, maybe to the 15 or 16-yard line. Chasey, number 77, Matt Taylor, 2 of the defensive linemen coming in. There's Mike Chasey. Again, he is playing because of the ineligibility of Joe Thompson, normally there, who has to sit this game out for a flagrant penalty assessed in the semifinal.
He's been doing a nice job, though, for filling in for Thompson defensively. He's played a nice ball game.
FORE going into the win. This is a critical spot for him. He's done a good job. Let's see what he does here. Low kick. See what kind of a bounce he gets, and this time doesn't get a good one. Barely past where 1st down yardage would have been. And that is the 34-yard line of Carterville. So excellent field position here again with the wind after a 20-yard punt by Carterville.
Well, as we mentioned at halftime, Mike, we talked about the conditions and not so much the passing game, but the kicking game being a big factor in the outcome of this ball game as far as field position. And I think that we're seeing this at this particular point.
Tight formation, full house backfield. They give it to Josh Turgaletti, and Turgaletti has been doing the bulk of the ball carrying here. Ryan and Borowski had been the principal ball carriers, but Turgaletti's been called, and he's been getting the job done. David Mason on the stop after a gain of 8.
Second back through, they fake to the fullback and give it to Turgaletti. And of course, he's a big back at 6'4", 200 pounds. So you're looking at to compensate for that big defensive line of Carterville. They're putting in a big backfield there, and he's doing a nice job of running the football.
Carterville player is down. Try to see who it is.
Looks like it's just a cramp.
Maybe Brett Dial, number 21. Dial has played an outstanding game at corner.
Big interception he had. He ran down to the 4-yard line in the 1st quarter.
5 minutes, 54 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. All the scoring so far in the 1st half. Carterville on a run by Billy Pinkston and a sneak by Brock Lovelace, each following a turnover by Spring Valley Hall, 14-6 over the Red Devils. Red Devils scoring late in the first half. There is Dial. You're probably right, Jack. Obviously under his own power and seems okay as he comes on. Second down, 2 yards to go for Spring Valley Hall from the Carterville 27. Again, the tight formation. Yearly goes in motion. You see him to the top, to the right. And the give to Turgaletti again, and Turgaletti taking 5 defenders with him. They drive him back, but he gets first down yardage and more down past the 20-yard line. Turgaletti is just churning it out here.
He really is. There's a short little trap right there. Mike Chesney does a trap, and Turgaletti runs up inside. The guard that's trapping is 218 pounds, and the back running with the ball is 200, so that's a nice combination.
Well, that's the first down by either team in the half with 5.5 minutes left to go. And they give it to the second man through. This is Yearly, and Yearly doesn't get anything as he is brought down by Jeff Cook.
Play took a little too much time developing, and the outside linebacker just sat there and read it. You can see they try to give it to the second back, but there's no movement whatsoever. You can see the linebackers right here just sliding over outside. That play was never destined for a gain, I don't think.
No gain, 2nd and 10. 22-yard line. They shift to a wing with Turgaletti there. And this time they give it to Bryant. Bryant trying to follow his blockers, does so. Good effort. Second effort gets him close to the first down marker. Brian Maurizio coming up from the left corner spot. Makes the stop, but a good effort by Bryant, which seemed to develop as the play progressed. It looked like he was going to be caught for little or no gain.
Well, it becomes a little more difficult to tackle in these conditions also. Fortunately, you don't have to worry about the mud or anything, but it still is kind of a slippery situation for tacklers.
About a yard short, so it'll be 3rd and 1. First man through and going nowhere this time. The defense had the answer. Once again, Matt Dunning put the brakes on Turgaletti big time.
You can see that they just never get off the ball here. Look at the penetration by Carterville. They just come across the line of scrimmage. They control it. I would suggest on this second play here, we're going to see something very similar to what Spring Valley Hall did on their touchdown run, where they're running more off tackle because they now have 4th and 2. And I think that they're going to have to run off tackle because they cannot move these people inside. They're just too big and strong right now.
Well, here we go. 4th and 2. Yearly in motion. The keeper by JEPPSON, and JEPPSON swinging it wide to the 10. He's to the 5 and out of bounds at the 5-yard line. You thought JEPPSON for a second, or at least I did. Instead of going right for the first down, he kept swinging it wide, and you wondered if he was going to trap himself back there. But Sean JEPPSON gets the first down and more, down to the 4.
You can see right here where everybody went inside on the inside gaps, and all he did was pull the ball out and go outside. A nice job of running here by Sean JEPPSON, 6'2", 160-pound junior. Kind of a late hit there going out of bounds, but apparently the official felt as if he had the momentum.
JEPPSON gets the play brought in.
Right now you're thinking, what is your two-point play going to be?
Right. First they have to punch it in. If they can do that. And the give Turgaletti, and Turgaletti in there, touchdown. Red Devils are within 2. Josh Turgaletti as they slant off the left side. You're right, Jack. Boy, I sound like Irv Kupson here, you know. That's right, Jack. But when they go outside or at least slant off the tackles, they have a lot more success than they do when they go straight ahead.
Well, it's more difficult for their smaller linemen to take these guys on head on, so taking the angles is much easier for them. And fortunately, the defensive line is slanting inside, so all they're doing is running them down inside and letting that back bounce out outside the tackle. And I would think that we're going to see something very similar right now.
Again, they go for two, trailing 14-12. JEPPSON gives it to Turigliatti, and Turigliatti
He's got
fights his way in.
Great effort.
Josh Turigliatti was stopped well behind the line of scrimmage, much less behind the goal line, but he fought his way through, and Josh Turigliatti is showing you what he's made of and ties this game at 14 with 3:11 to go.
Now that play was exactly the same look as a two-point conversion they went for earlier and didn't get, except this time instead of throwing it, they handed it off and went inside. So well-designed play. You can see right now the motion. This is the touchdown right here we talked about. Just good power right there. Initial hit, good second effort, he scores. Now they run the man in motion. You can see right now, see how they're blocking down, and now all of a sudden they kick out. But this is just a great effort by Josh Turigliatti here. And of course, 200-pound back at 6'4", doesn't hurt pounding in for that extra yard.
And the lead man missed his block, and Turigliatti was trapped back at the line of scrimmage, but he fought that off and got the touchdown. We are tied with 3 minutes 11 seconds to go in the third quarter. The 3A championship game is now all even. 7 plays, 34 yards, just under 3 minutes for the drive. And we're tied at 14. Berkman to kick it off. Mason watching it go out of bounds, and this will be a big break here for Carterville.
It went out of bounds before he touched it, so they'll have the choice of taking it at the they'll have a choice of re-kicking it or taking it out of bounds here.
Let's quickly go down to Yvonne Simmons.
Mike and Jack, the reporter on Brett Dial, number 21, who came out, he's had a problem with his ankle. He said that he heard it pop. They have retaped it. He's standing on the sidelines trying to walk it off, but they'd say he will re-enter the game.
Okay, thanks, Yvonne. And Carterville now, it looks like it's going to run the play from the 30. So they'll begin their offense with decent field position.
There's still a discussion here because I think what they're talking about is whether he touched the ball prior to going out of bounds, and I think the ball was out of bounds before he touched it, so they had the choice of taking it on the 35-yard line.
Right, it looked that way.
The kicking team, the receivers will take it at the 35-yard line.
That's what the discussion was, whether or not they saw if he touched it prior to it going out of bounds. Had he touched it, it would have been back there, but he didn't, so it's on the 35.
First and 10, the wishbone for Carterville. Pinkston, quick hit, and Pinkston getting good yardage. Takes a couple of defenders with him, including Turigliatti, and he gets the ball out across the 40, nearly to the 45, and that will be good enough for the first down.
He has great acceleration, only 160 pounds, but he hits the hole extremely quick and is up to speed very rapidly, which accounts for the power that he generates when he hits the line of scrimmage.
Pinkston, the leading rusher today with those 86 yards. And this time Richard gets the call, but Joey Reed has the answer, leading a charge of Red Devils to drive him back with little, if any, gain.
See the shot right here where it's just an isolation here, but not a very good job here by Billy Pinkston of kicking out on the outside linebacker. In fact, he kind of just runs right by him, and he's the one that makes the play. He's got to make that block if that play's to go.
Well, they give him a couple, so it's second down and 8. Pinkston again, and again Pinkston is brought down quickly by Turigliatti. Well, Josh Turiglatti's taken over this game, hasn't he?
He certainly has. You certainly don't get opportunities to get down here too often, and he's taking advantage of it.
The rain began earlier this afternoon. It has been a driving rain ever since. And as it gets colder, it still isn't quite cold enough to produce that ice slick, but it's getting close. 3rd and 5. Lovelace to throw. And Lovelace this time is met once again by Sterling, by Taylor, and by Adam Curran after Chasey made the initial penetration and just couldn't put him away.
He really never had a chance. You can see right here that the tremendous penetration that Chasey gets up between the center guard gap. And now here comes Nick Sterling, 6'7". It's tough to throw over him. It's like trying to hit a jump shot over a giraffe. It just isn't going to happen. Great penetration, good push upfield by the defensive line. 4th down,
Jonah FORE will punt it away to Bryant and Yearly. And FORE doesn't get much on this one. And it goes out of bounds about the 35-yard line. They'll mark it right at the 34.5. 21-yard kick, again into the wind. 55 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, and Spring Valley Hall will start their offensive series again with decent field position. Well, if they're going to take advantage of that win, they've got 55 seconds to do it. But at this point, it looks like both teams are pretty much content to work the running game, and Spring Valley Hall, after scoring the last time, has been doing it very well. Single back set, and they give it to Turigliatti. Big hole. Bishop misses him. Bryant throws a block. Turigliatti down to the 30. Needs one more block from Reed. Gets it, but gets tripped up by Mason just outside the 10. What a run by Josh Turigliatti, who has been doing everything. 53 yards.
You imagine what he would have done had he had 2 good ankles. Just a trap. Watch the guard right here. Mike Chesney does a great job, and then Turigliatti just cuts back against the grain right here. And the corner overruns him, and he gets a good effort downfield right here. You can see that, and he cuts back, and he gets tripped up right as he's trying to split. Coming right back here, he gets tripped up. Great run and great effort downfield by his receivers blocking.
David Mason saved the touchdown. Here's Bryant looking for the block, doesn't get it. And Bryant tries to cut back, makes a little more out of that than he almost had, looking for Chad Glover to make the block, and Glover had a problem, but Bryant looking good. Take a look at the north goal post, by the way. We'll get a shot of this. The wind has, oh, look at that. The goal post is giving up the ghost, but certainly these teams aren't. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Spring Valley Hall is driving. We're tied at 14. We'll take a break, and I have a feeling we've got a big 12 minutes coming up. Boy, is Bob Euchre there? Those are the seats. Those are fans, ladies and gentlemen. You see, the rain is almost parallel now. It is coming down. Meanwhile, Spring Valley driving from the 8-yard line. 2nd and 8. And here's the handoff, and nothing doing here. Big push by Dial, who's back in, leading the charge on Turigliatti, driving him back. Shawn Wade in there as well.
They really had no surge at all on the left side of the offensive line, and they just had a very difficult time containing that defensive front. What they're doing is they're taking the gaps and jumping upfield, and it makes it very difficult for them. They're taking more time. Instead of, at this point, they might start hitting a little quicker. What they're doing with those counters is taking more time.
From the 11, it's a 3rd and goal. This time it's Yearly, and Yearly swinging left. Yearly, touchdown! Mike Chasey throws the block. Eric Yearly, 5'6" junior, played on this team last year, scores his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. None bigger.
Nice blocking outside on the perimeter off of that fake.
Eric Yearly, they give him a 12-yard run, and it's a 20-14 game. 20 straight points scored by Spring Valley Hall. Berkman will kick it. Kick is up, and it hits the goalpost. So once again, an extra point could prove to be critical here. 20-14, but watch the execution on this sweep by Eric Yearly.
Let's watch the top of the screen. You can see the guard, Mike Chesney, pulling outside. he does a nice job because they were able to seal off the outside linebacker, and look at him getting upfield, doing a nice job of leading him upfield. 6'2", 218-pound senior.
But watch the extra point here, and
Nice
this
snap.
could be something. The snap is high, maybe have been partially blocked, but boink, right off the left post. And so it is a 20-14 game.
Now, had that been down at the other goal post,
yeah,
it would have been good.
The other
We had that goal post tilted on us.
well, it's
and
fixed now.
It's fixed now. But
I don't know how they did that.
all they did was push it back up. It's just balanced so precariously.
I guess. Apparently they had ropes and rigging. Dave Turner, our producer director, telling us from the truck, always well informed. 4 plays, 65 yards, 3 minutes, 48 seconds, and for the first time in this game, Spring Valley Hall, the defending 3A champion, is leading. So Berkman kicking now into the wind.
Ooh,
Richard, it's a live ball.
I don't believe he did that.
Richard absolutely forgot it was a live ball covered by Spring Valley Hall. What a mistake, and Richard is stunned. He's talking there to Chastain.
I think he thought it was actually going to roll out of bounds. Either that or he got turned around and thought it was a punt.
What?
Why in the world? Well, that's high school football, Mike. I hate to say it, but that is high school football, and those are kind of things that happen.
Kerry Martin watching this game turn around on him and his team. And he's talking to his player. You'll notice no yelling, no screaming. Everybody knows what happened. But now, from the 22-yard line, Spring Valley Hall in business again. And this is Turriglietti again. And Josh gets to the 20 as Maurizio tried to strip the ball. They're just plain out going for the football on that sequence there. Turriglietti has had ankle problems. He's limping some, but only after the whistle.
He certainly has come into his own in the second half of this ball game, taking all the pressure off of Eric Bryant, who really has had a
very quiet
offensive performance.
Turriglietti and Bryant, the deuce backfield. Second down. This time they give it to Bryant, and Bryant gets down to the 15, gain of 3.
Quick hitter, just a straight dive.
Jeff Cook on the stop. One thing about Eric Bryant, somehow you always know he's going to be in the middle of the play. It happened last year when the team trailed by 10. It's an onside kick after a touchdown, and Eric Bryant was the man who recovered the ball for Spring Valley Hall. And that set up the winning touchdown with seconds to go. Full house backfield now. Yearly goes in motion. On 3rd and 3.
That was a 10-man front. They went in motion and they just played man coverage. They had the 10 defensive players from tight end to tight end, and that play was not going to go anywhere.
Mason led the charge. Turriglietti stopped in his tracks.
You can see everybody pinching down inside on the gaps, and the linebackers just coming in right in behind him.
Well, the way the momentum in this game is shifting, this is a critical play. They will go for it. They're not going to kick. 4th down and 5. 9 minutes 12 and counting. See the difference now. Carterville only 21 yards all told in the half. On 4th down. They go the other way. And down close to first down yardage, but considerably short. So Carterville will take over. Yearly stopped by Clint Walker.
That was the same play they had for the touchdown run, and sometimes you go to the well a little too often, but it was there initially, the same identical play for the touchdown. You see Mike Chesney pulling out, but good penetration up the field, and that's what stopped the play. When you run in reverses, you don't want penetration up the field. You want to come flat down the line of scrimmage pursuing.
All right, they've got 85 yards to go. Do the Carterville Lions. Trailing by 6, and a good chunk right away on first down for Pinkston. Eric Hurst making the stop, and that looks to be close to a first down. Now just short, maybe half a yard.
Big splits here on the left side of the offensive line between center and guard.
Receiver split left and right, and going for the first down is Pinkston, and he makes it before Sterling wraps him up.
What they try to do there is create a seam just by their splits with the offensive lineman, because the defensive line is going with them. So there's a hole right there immediately. And all they needed, obviously, was a yard for that first down.
Clock at 8:10 and counting. Eight minutes to go exactly. Quick pitch, and it is behind Ward. And that stops the clock with 7:57 to go. A reminder, we've got replays of the IHSA Football Championship game. Class 1A, 2A, 11 a.m. and 3A starting, then 4A, 5, and 6A on December 22nd. Starting at 3. So if you miss any of this championship football, and it's been good, Sports Channel will be showing replays of all 6 games on December 21st and 22nd. Check your local listings for details. Here's the pitch to Pinkston, and Pinkston with a breakout. Picks up 7. And Pinkston coming alive again. He was the back who carried Carterville throughout most of the first half.
See a good job here by the guard getting out in front of him. And that's an excellent tackle right there. He had a lot more running room. That was Tony Orlandi, 5'11", 160-pound junior, came up and made that big tackle.
And now Pinkston's gone over the 100-yard mark. More importantly, it sets up a 3rd and 4. 7:15 to go. Single back set, and they give it to Pinkston again, and he will be well short. Again, it is Taylor, number 81, and Sterling, the 2 ends, coming in to bring up a 4th down and 1, maybe 2. Big decision here from your own 37-yard line. Well, it's a 4th and 1, 6:50 and counting.
Now, oftentimes what teams will do, there's a couple of different options. You can go to the line of scrimmage and call a no play and try and draw them off by resetting a tight end or putting somebody in motion and hope that they'll, anything that's under 5 yards, if it's a 5-yard penalty, get a first down. Now, don't be surprised if there's a fake here.
Jonah FORE gets it away with 2 seconds left on the play clock.
Good kick.
Hangs it up nicely.
Kick.
And what a play. They let it bounce, so it's downed inside the 10-yard line. You wonder why the return man let that one bounce on AstroTurf. Meanwhile, Spring Valley Hall with 6:15 to go after the 53-yard punt will start. First will go. The Class 3A championship game, 6:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Spring Valley Hall with the lead. They have scored 20 unanswered points. I'm Mike Liederman along with Jack McInerney, Dave Turner, our Sports Channel crew, and there I think is the management team of a very dumb company. No. These are great fans. They're on the camper. They're having a good time as the rain continues to fall. It's slacked off a bit. And honestly, I'm amazed the play has been as good as it has been. 1st and 10 from the 9 for Hall. And Bryant across the 10-yard line. Doesn't get much. Check it. It's Turigliatti to the 11. Give him 2 yards. And Josh is limping severely.
Well, this is a critical area down here. They want to force them to punt, stopping them on first down to a very short gain or no gain here, and then this will be a big play here. They've got to get them to kick in the wind so they get decent field position. And the other part of it is that center be snapping with a heavy wind. He's liable to snap it over the head of the punter. So, I mean, there's all kinds of intangibles that could happen down here.
Clock down, the play clock down to 3 seconds. 2, 1, and they just get it off. JEPPSON is in big trouble. Avoids the safety, still on his feet somehow, and gets close to the original line of scrimmage. But boy, Mike Berry making the stop, but the penetration had JEPPSON back close to his own goal line.
Well, you can see he bangs into the fullback right here, and what happens is
John Chamberlain was the guy who put the pressure on.
yeah, John Chamberlain, 6'4", 260-pounder, who's done a great job of coming off the edge on these situations, and it really puts him in a hole now.
3rd down and 11, and again, we will remind you that if they have to kick, they have to kick into a big win. But 3rd and 11, let's see what happens. Offset eye, they go safely, give it to Turigliatti, and check it, it's Bryant, and Bryant gets out to the 10. And they are going to be shy by a whole bunch.
These are situations that you do not like to get into.
Gary Vicini.
You know, the other thing he might do here is, you know, this is crazy, you never want to give up points, but he could take a safety here. But there's an awful lot of time left here, but that's a possibility. He could take a safety.
Yeah.
He figures that they're going to kick it real short. He might take a safety and then come out in the 20 and try and kick it deeper. He took a safety.
And that's exactly what he did with smart play by Craig Olson coming in to take the 2-point safety. Now they'll have to kick again, but from the 20, they'll get a free kick, and that makes it 20-16. Still, not that a field goal is going to be an issue, but you need a touchdown to grab the lead if you're Carterville.
You know, it's nice once in a while to call one that they do.
You know, all those years of coaching got to be worth something,
I
Jack.
guess it wears off on you by osmosis.
20-16. There is Gary Vicini. He started out, you know, now he's all weathered up. It has been a trying time to play football. Look at that. You see the conditions. It reminds, we were talking about this in the break, Jack. Last year we did that game between Naperville North and Naperville Central.
I had my life reserve.
That's right. We just, I've saved the tape of that one. Take a look at the replay. We just watched the Animals pairing up in that one, headed for the arc.
Well, can you imagine if this was not AstroTurf, the conditions down there?
We couldn't tell any numbers. All right, so now from the 20-yard line, Berkman will kick it.
I tell you what, I think that they probably talked about it's a live ball and make sure you pick it up and don't let it bounce around.
I think they did after last time. Quickly, they had too many men on the field, and Mike Bishop, number 10, comes running off for Carterville. And now here is Berkman. See what he does. 4 minutes to go.
That wind is picking up even more. Oh, my.
It's a short kick into the 40-yard line. Berry, the linebacker, takes it, number 34, and he is brought down by Eric Hurst. But now with 3:54 to go.
What's the timeout situation, Mike? I lost my...
Well, both teams have all three. Both teams have all three timeouts. There is Berry, plays a backup linebacker, obviously has good hands. We see that. So now
it all comes down to the last 3:50.
Lovelace under center, and the give to Pinkston, and Pinkston gets good yardage. He goes across the 35 to the 33-yard line.
Chamberlain and Gullett are doing a great job on the left side of that offensive line. Two mighty big offensive linemen, and that's where they're running, right behind them.
Second down. The rain now has picked up. Here's the pitch. Pinkston again. Pinkston across the 30. And Pinkston steps out of bounds around the 11-yard line. And Billy Pinkston making his presence felt again. He scored the first touchdown, almost had another one. Watch this, 22-yard gain.
Gullett blocked down on the guard, and Chamberlain pulled out in front of him, and he gets some nice blocks by his lead backs. And you can see right here where he steps out of bounds, right there. Good call by the officials.
Well, Kenny Richard, number 5, gave him that good block. Made up for watching the kickoff bounce in front of him.
Great poise here being showed by Carterville.
from the 12-yard line. It's 1st and 10. The give again to Pinkston, and Pinkston is quickly met by Berkman. Maybe a yard, maybe not. Clock down to 3 minutes, and it is moving.
Now that was the backside, not the point of attack was he stopped, but that they came in from the backside, angling, coming down flat down the line of scrimmage and made the play.
Well, Don Robinson said it at halftime. The last 7 games in the state championship over 3 years have been excellent, and this one is keeping that streak alive. 2:42. Here's the pitch. Richard trying to swing it wide. Pinkston gives him the block, and it is touchdown Carterville. You heard the cannon. Richard, who could easily have been the GOAT, now could stand to be the hero. 22-20, 2:34 on the clock.
Great job of blocking at the point of attack by Hess and Pinkston. Really got out in front of him and did a real nice job allowing him to get in there.
Kenny Richard gets the touchdown. Jonah FORE is setting up for the extra point. Here's Richard.
And that's the goalpost that had tilted earlier.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that.
So FORE to put the team up by 3. High snap, nicely spotted by Ward, and there is the kick is good. So with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left, Carterville, after 20 straight points by Spring Valley Hall, has come up with a touchdown of its own.
Watch the blocking at the point of attack. You see number 65 getting out in front of him right there. And also Hess and Pinkston doing a nice job springing him around the corner. That was an excellent job of blocking at the point of attack. You can see how they're cutting them off, cutting the linebackers off right here, and they're just getting angles. And there's Billy Pinkston doing a nice job of turning his shoulders, kind of hooking there, and of course he gets into the end zone.
Shaves that right corner. Meanwhile, you heard the cannon. They have this cannon on a place called Hensgen Hill near Carterville. Every time this team scores, some of the townsfolk set this cannon off. Now, obviously, they brought it with them. And it boomed right now. So there's your situation. FORE will kick it off. 3 timeouts left for both teams. And there it is, sure. I think it's more like a howitzer, for God's sake. It's a mortar. Turpin, Bryant, and Glenn.
Notice it's all duck hunters that are manning that cannon.
Big booming kick. Bryant takes it on the 1. To the 15. Berry wraps him up short of the 20. It's going to be a long haul for Hall. 2:26 to go. 18-yard return. Out to the 19-yard line. Well, Sean JEPPSON in the passing game really haven't had much luck. There is Berry, who's come up big here. Backup defensive player, linebacker. He's had a couple of key plays.
90-yard drive with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left into a heavy, rainy wind is going to be a very difficult task to accomplish.
Well, JEPPSON can throw the ball. Ball is tipped and out of the hands of HIRST. That was almost a lateral.
Yes. Good thing it went out of bounds.
Chamberlain, number 77, may have gotten that big paw up. And
I just throwing this out to you. They might be setting up a double pass because they had a trip set over there. They throw it back, and the corner comes up, and they run them past it, and that's kind of what it looked like they were trying to do.
Well, Chamberlain interfered. Yeah.
This is when you pull out all the stops.
Slot left, 2nd down 10. JEPPSON has got time. Now feels the pressure. Now he's wrapped up, and down goes JEPPSON. Taken down by number 74, Nick Anderson, who's in there at defensive line.
You can see he's looking around, but he gets so much pressure come up the field, he's forced back up inside the pocket. And right there, he's trying to scramble. He's got no receivers. A great job by the secondary, but an even better job by the defensive lineman.
3rd down and 18. 3rd down and 10, rather, from the 18. There is Anderson. Brought him into the left end spot.
Well, if you can run him off deep again and you get that kind of penetration, this is where a screen pass sometimes is very effective.
And now, with 2 seconds left on the play clock, Hall calls its first timeout. 1:30 to go. Spring Valley Hall down 14-0. Came back to take a 20-14 lead. Now they trail 23-20. There is the Carterville defensive 11. They lead it. They're looking for their first state championship. Hall, as you know, the defending 3A titleist. There are the Red Devils huddled around their coaching staff.
You know, the coaching staff has parkas on. I'm looking at those officials. Those guys look soaked and cold, but they're doing a great job.
Well, you can bet they didn't forget their underwear, Jack.
Yeah. Making reference to the first ball game, I had my long underwear on, and I thought I got a little warm up here. In fact, I thought I contracted malaria during the break. So during the games, I changed.
Now these folks, look at this. These folks are just sitting there. You're probably too
like
cold to move.
A warm summer drizzle, right?
Oh, gee. Oh, my. All right. Full house backfield, 3rd and 10 from the 18. Yearly goes in motion again. JEPPSON straight back, now rolls. Looking for his receiver, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Ward. Casey Ward makes the interception. What a play that is with 1:23 to go.
He rolls out here. He gets pretty good protection. But he's just trying to jump into flat. You can tell by the trajectory and the spiral of the ball, it was not well thrown. Obviously slipped out of his hands, underthrown, but a nice play there for the interception.
Intended for Yearly, JEPPSON has completed more passes to the opposition tonight than he has to his own team. It has been a rough night for both quarterbacks passing. JEPPSON, I believe, has just the one completion, right? And 3 interceptions. Now Carterville will try to run out the clock, and the timeouts will be taken. But first we get a procedure penalty against Carterville. So they don't want to do anything here except hold on to the ball, run out the clock, get Kerry Martin his first state championship in the most difficult, or among the most difficult, conditions we have seen. 1:22 to go. Here's the handoff, and Pinkston brought down by Bryant. We're still, now the ball is loose. The ball is loose. Turgaletti recovers the fumble. It will be Spring Valley Hall ball. What else can happen?
And who comes up with it but Josh Turgaletti? It almost seems like it's some sort of a recording. We're stuck on that word, but he has been involved in everything offensively and defensively.
Watch it here. It looked forever like Pinkston was going to go down.
Right there. Eric Bryant just tears it right out of his arms. They're going for the football. Turgaletti picks it up.
Lovelace makes the stop, but now with 1:11 to go and 2 timeouts, much better field position for Spring Valley Hall. JEPPSON with the play action. This time he throws it, and it is underthrown, incomplete. Intended for Reed, and that ball just wasn't catchable. Good defense there too. But you're throwing into that gale.
And thrown across the field also.
Here comes Yearly with the next play. There it is, 1 for 11 for JEPPSON with 3 picks. 28 yards, that one pass way back in the first half. But hey, they're still in this ball game. Carterville trying to hang on after the fumble. 2nd down from the 43-yard line. JEPPSON gives it up the middle. Turigliatti across midfield. He's to the 48-yard line with exactly 1 minute to go. And they will, well, let's check and see if they're going to measure, see if he did get the first down. Clock stops.
Timeout also.
Well, first they're going to measure this one.
Officials timeout for measurement.
So they have not charged the timeout to Spring Valley Hall.
When is Eric Bryant going to emerge here? It's that 1 minute. He's really the guy that I mean, Turigliatti has been the big play guy, but he's not a breakaway threat at this point. I really think Eric Bryant, somewhere along the line, has got to touch the ball in this next minute. Because he's truly the threat to go all the way. And how they get him to the ball, whether it be a screen pass, a draw, or whatever, but he needs to touch the football.
Gary Vicini, the coach of Spring Valley Hall, they have taken a full timeout now. Exactly 60 ticks left on the clock.
Timeout for Hall.
Second down, less than a yard to go, but more importantly, they are about 47 yards from a touchdown. A field goal would seem to be out of the question to tie, only because of the conditions and the fact that they have not kicked one all season long.
But nothing would surprise you at this stage.
Hey, after the hook and ladder this morning, no. Still more football to come. Providence continues its quest for still another state championship. Metamora trying to put an end to that streak. Jim Blaney and Ron Rivera are huddled somewhere and will bring you all this action.
Scheduled for live telecast.
And there you see the defense of Carterville. They had this one wrapped up, but then Eric Bryant stripped the ball. Turigliatti recovered, and it made this game even more tense and even more interesting in the final minute and a half. How about that? Gary Vicini coached the state champions last year, trailing in this one.
These are situations where you're calling 2 plays at a time in the huddle. You want to make sure that you're able to utilize that clock, obviously.
1 timeout left. Second down and 1. Yearly on the move, and they give it to Turigliatti, and Josh Turigliatti inside the 40. Clock is moving. Now it stops, but it's a first down, so they'll move the chains. Turigliatti, you can see that right leg, that right ankle has just been giving him fits. But again, only after the whistle.
Right, now the clock starts the moment those chains are ready. And I'm kind of surprised they're losing 5 seconds of crack here that they don't have another play called.
This time Yearly again, motion to the left. JEPPSON steps it up. Has time, looking
open.
deep, he's got a man, but it is intercepted again. This time, number 23, Matt Dunning. And that, well, dare we say, should do it. Matt Dunning, outstanding linebacker, as this ball is thrown high and underthrown. Watch it here.
Well, you could see he had him open, but obviously with the wind and the grip on the wet football made it very difficult. But the key to that play, I thought, was number 77, John Chamberlain, giving him a hard rush up the outside that forced him to step up and threw the timing off.
Eric Bryant, the intended receiver, 3 defenders around, and Matt Dunning, there he is, number 23, made the interception. So Carterville now on its own 17-yard line. We'll run out the clock. 1 more timeout for Hall. Now the ball is marked for play, and I guess Hall is not going to take it. And Kerry Martin says you don't have to do anything, just stay there. Well, let the celebration begin. It is over. The 3A championship goes to the Lions of Carterville. Kerry Martin, the head coach, getting the big hug from his assistants. A long trip. It was certainly worth it. 23-20 the final over the defending state champion Red Devils from Spring Valley Hall.
Well, all the action, everything that could happen certainly did happen. So a very exciting football game, an awful lot of momentum swings back and forth.
Boy, that's for sure. A couple of turnovers in the final minute. But the Carterville Lions have prevailed. They are the new 3A state champions in the state of Illinois. We'll be back and wrap things up after this. Well, believe it or not, this one is finally over, and the Carterville Lions, you see them there, will celebrate a well-earned state championship. There are these trophies. You know, we've been to enough swim meets to know that these trophies are waterproof. But let me tell you, this was in doubt until the final seconds.
It was a football game that was very exciting, well played under real adverse conditions.
Well, let's go to the award ceremonies now with the public address and Jeff Fritzen.
Presentations will be members of the Illinois High School Association Board of Directors. Mr. Greg Bradley, Secretary of the Board from Mount Zion High School. Mr. William Wright, Vice President of the Board from Savannah High School. Mr. Gary Collins, a board member from Monmouth. And Mr. Pat Sullivan, a board member from Roxana. Will Principal Patty Lund, Coach Gary Vicini, and the captains of runner-up Hall High School please join the presenters on the awards platform. A special medallion is presented to Ms. Lund, and the individual awards will be presented to Coach Vicini and his team captains by Mr. Wright. Now the second place trophy will be presented to the Red Devils of Hall High School, who finished the season with a final record of 12 wins and 2 losses. Presenting the trophy will be Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, if you please. Next will Principal Tim Blyer, Coach Kerry Martin, and the captains of state champion Carterville join the presenters on the awards platform. Ladies and gentlemen, the Illinois High School Association has instituted a campaign to sport a winning attitude, sportsmanship, and to recognize it at the state finals. Players, coaches, and spectators of each of the teams competing in this championship game were evaluated by a volunteer panel of judges. Winning a banner for sporting a winning attitude at the 1996 Class 3A game is Carterville High School. Now a special medallion will be presented to Mr. Blyer, and the individual awards will be presented to Coach Martin and his team captains by Mr. Sullivan. And now this year's state championship Class 3A team trophy will be presented to the Lions of Carterville, who finished the season with a final record of 14 wins and no losses. Presenting the championship trophy, Mr. Sullivan. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the awards presentation for the Class 3A championship game. The Illinois High School Association thanks you for joining your team here at Hancock Stadium and hopes you have enjoyed your visit to Illinois State University.
Kerry Martin and the Carterville Lions, the 3A champions, will be back after this. Load that cannon.
Football fans, remember to stop by the official souvenir booth here at Hancock Stadium.
Weather outside may be cloudy and rainy and now snowy and miserable, but Kerry Martin and the Carterville Lions, they just think it's a beautiful sunny day. Right, Yvonne Simmons?
That's right. Congratulations, Coach Martin, on your victory this afternoon. It's a gutsy performance tonight by both teams, really.
Yeah, it really was. You know, we had been down early. They came back and got us down, and our kids responded.
Let's talk about your defense. Your defensive line set the tone early, and Hall came back 20-14, and then they really stiffened up also.
Yeah, you know, our lines played well all year, but we struggled middle part of the game. But when it counted late, we did a great job.
And you talked about, too, that you've done this all year. Last week, you won in the semis in overtime.
Yeah, you know, our football team has bounced back from adversity all season long, and so I had a lot of confidence in them late in the game when we were down that we could come back and win, and doggone it, we did.
One thing I want to talk about, we didn't get to talk about during the game, is that the community involvement. And when you came here, it was very important to you not only to get the football team going, but really to have the community backing you, and they've really done that this year.
Oh yeah, in the first year I was 3-6, and they responded. They said, what do you need to help build a championship football team? And all along the way, step by step, this community has been behind me, the whole area. And we wouldn't be standing on this field with this medal around my neck if it wasn't for the people in this town.
Great, congratulations. Have a good night and go say hi to your kids. Thanks. Mike and Jack, back to you.
All right, Yvonne, I guess you've got to work the second game, but hope you can stay dry. Here's our Pepsi play of the game, the final touchdown coming with 2:34 left in the fourth quarter. Kenny Richard taking the pitch, circles his right side, and he is gone for 12 yards and the winning touchdown, 23-20 the final score. Carterville, the 3A champions. Well, Jack, it's really beautiful here. I just hope the folks sitting nicely in front of your TV sets enjoy this one, because these kids played in weather that was just unfit for man, beast, or TV sportscaster.
Well, absolutely. The conditions were miserable. The football play was pretty good. It's a couple turnovers that obviously led to the change of momentum in the ball game, but they played a pretty good football game under these kind of conditions.
Well, and the big boom from the cannon at Carterville. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that cannon. They have done extremely well, and the 3A champions from last year give up the crown to the Carterville Lions over Spring Valley Hall. Second game is coming up, the 4A championship next. Ron Rivera, Jim Blaney going to bring it to you. This game produced and directed by Dave Turner. Our associate producer is Dave Ross. Production manager is Sheila Brown. Vice President of Programming at Sports Channel is Mike Bogad. Remote facilities provided by Trio Video of Chicago. Once again, the final score, Carterville 23, Spring Valley Hall 20. For Jack McInerney, I'm Mike Lederman saying so long from Hancock Stadium. The preceding has been a co-production of Intersport and Sports Channel Chicago. Bye-bye, everybody.